I've said it once and I will say it again, Devilman is beyond its time. Go Nagai has a unique and unrivaled ability to create works of art that are often too gruesome and controversial for the general public. But those who aren't scared away by the themes are met with one of the most thought-provoking stories that's come out of the anime and manga space. Two boys who seem like near opposites from the get-go make a pact to save the world from demons by sacrificing themselves to the very demons they're fighting in hopes that their pure hearts will allow them to control the literal demon within, of course giving them powers to fight back and protect humanity from certain doom. What follows isn't your typical superhero coming-of-age story, but instead devolves into utter madness as Akira Fudo and Ryo Asuka become the last line of defense in the war the rest of the planet is blind to. But Devilman also isn't about warfare despite the death and destruction coming around the corner. Instead, Go Nagai's real motive was to tackle the complexities of the human condition. What is good and evil? What does it mean to be human? Do you truly have an enemy? What is the trajectory of humanity? Devilman makes me wonder whether or not Go Nagai is a real truth seer, because the themes and ideas posed within the story are even more relevant today than they were in 1972, and perhaps that is why this is my third attempt to get a Devilman video out to the general public. So if you're interested in the larger story of Devilman, I definitely recommend going back and checking out a video we did a while ago. It's one we spent a lot of time on and of course ended up getting nothing for it. So why is that, and why was our first Devilman video treated the same way by YouTube? I mean, it is a story that is 50 years old. I just don't understand how it could possibly still be worth, censoring. So let's get into that.
Hey guys, Tyler here, the half of Bonsai Pop you never hear unless you listen to the Bonsai Popcast. Mike's currently somewhere in the middle of Wyoming driving home, so I'll fill you in on today's sponsor. Our friends over at Figurama Collectors have outdone themselves. Let me introduce you to their brand new Devilman Siren Elite exclusive statue. Guys, this statue is insane. It's absolutely beautiful and something I would happily display proudly in my own home. This statue comes with 2 swappable portraits and a display bust stand, as well as magnetic breast covers so you can display her more conservatively or all natural like the canon. Pre-orders start tomorrow, July 1st at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. And make sure you act fast, because Figurama Collector statues regularly sell out in mere hours and almost always in less than a day. Use code BPSES to get $30 off your order, and don't forget Figurama also has payment plans to make it easy to get this incredible piece of art. Thanks to Figurama for coming back and supporting us yet again. Now back to it.
Devilman hits hard and it hits fast. If you're like me and prefer checking out the older iterations of media, the 1987 and 90 OVAs are nothing to sneeze at. Within the first 15 minutes, you're going to get some, maybe some mistreatment of animals and some things that happen to people that end up with them dying in Minecraft, violence in Minecraft, bullying in Minecraft, graphically deranged self-unveiling in Minecraft, family assassination in Minecraft, and some verbal assault sprinkled on top. That being said, watching it dubbed is maybe the best bad dub experience you're ever going to have. The contrast between the horrific events and some of the line deliveries it's comedy gold. You can also feel that the 90s angst is coming through right from the get-go.
Smoking's bad for your health, especially when it's your own flesh you're smoking.
I've become so numb, I can't feel you there.
So the basic story goes like this. Akira is a soft-hearted kid who literally gets bullied for protecting bunnies from, some degenerates. And that's how you know he's the good guy, right? He's not willing to let people murder a bunny for fun. Then his former best friend, Ryo, just shows up out of nowhere and tells Akira to come with him without any explanation, threatens Akira's friend Miki with a knife, and takes Akira back to his house to explain that demons are real. Ryo guilt trips Akira into trying on a demon skull, which brain blasts him with the entire history of demons on Earth in the span of 30 seconds, and then Ryo explains that Akira is in grave danger because he knows the truth. So Ryo basically trapped Akira into becoming his partner in fighting the demons, which is super manipulative and sus all over. But Akira seems fine with it, right? Guess he's used to getting manipulated. Yes, I said that wrong on purpose. So between the skull and Ryo's clunky exposition, Akira learns that Dante's Inferno is basically just a historical recreation of how the demons on Earth got frozen in and ice beneath the surface during the Ice Age. Thanks to climate change, the polar ice caps are melting and unleashing the frozen demons back into the world to cause havoc and, become members of Congress. Move over, Al Gore. Go Nagai called this shit like 50 years ago. It honestly sounds like an Alex Jones conspiracy.
Folks, climate change is just a hoax started by the neoliberal fascists that leave the communist left as a scam to stop society from returning to its organic equilibrium, okay? They're trying to keep demons frozen at the South Pole because of the communist expatriate liberal left know they can't maintain world domination once the demons are rightfully released.
But hey, there's good news too. We can fight climate change and demons by turning into demons ourselves. And of course, that's the plan Ryo lays out. Participate in the Black Sabbath ritual with a bunch of drugged out ravers, get possessed by a demon, overpower the demon inhabiting their bodies, and then use those demonic powers to kill all the other demons and save the world. Now, how techno music and LED lights are the new version of an ancient demon possession ritual, I'll never completely understand. Or maybe I do. But the idea is that they have to, quote, let go of the power of human reason. And of course, you may have a different definition of what human reason is, but to me, that means inhibitions. By dropping all human societal restraints, instincts, and self-consciousness, a demon can more easily possess you. It fits really well with the whole satanic panic idea of the early 80s, when people who rebelled against social norms in any way whatsoever were considered to be possessed by the devil, or devil-worshipping. So-called deviant behavior was like catnip to the devil, and what's more deviant than loud music? Being naked, fornication, and mind-altering substances. Right? So obviously an underground rave is the best place to get possessed. Anyway, thanks to some more than frivolous bloodletting in Minecraft by Ryo, the ritual is a success and Akira gets possessed by Amon, the beast of hell. Akira is basically harboring the demon that makes other demons look like cute little kittens. Thanks to Akira's pure bunny-loving heart, Amon isn't able to take over his body, which leaves Akira with all of Amon's power, but none of the sway. And from this point on, Akira becomes a massacre machine, terrorizing the demon population of Earth, and basically a superhero. And this all seems like some basic dark shonen stuff, right? So what makes this story so controversial and upsetting, especially now? So much so that it would be blocked from you every time I talk about it. But like I said earlier, Devilman isn't really about a war between humans and demons. Instead, it questions the existence of humanity as a whole and our place as the good guys. It hits on the moral quandary of using media to influence the masses and delves into the nature of humanity's ethics by taking the stance that humans are not an inherently ethical species. So if you missed it, I'll explain how it does that. Because even though Devilman is technically a hero, he causes the f***ing apocalypse. And yeah, spoilers for something your grandparents could have read, but not everything is as it seems in Devilman, okay? Ryo, the instigator of all this violence and kind of a violence junkie himself, I might add, starts wondering if perhaps humanity isn't actually in the right. Every other species has a predator to keep its population in check, but humanity does not. The demons were our predators, and without them, humanity has quite literally taken over the earth, and the repercussions of that is more obvious now than ever. In 1992, more than 1,700 scientists around the world signed onto a World Scientists' Warning to Humanity, which wrote that the earth is finite, its ability to absorb wastes and destructive effluent is finite, its ability to provide food and energy is finite, and its ability to provide for growing numbers of people is finite, and we are fast approaching many of the Earth's limits. Pressures resulting from unrestrained population growth put demands on the natural world that can overwhelm any efforts to achieve a sustainable future. If we are to halt the destruction of our environment, we must accept limits to that growth. A second warning 25 years later was signed by more than 15,000 scientists worldwide, which also stated, by failing to adequately limit population growth, reassess the role of economy rooted in growth, reduce greenhouse gases, incentivize renewable energy, protect habitat, restore ecosystems, curb population, halt definition, and constrain invasive alien species, humanity is not taking the urgent steps needed to safeguard our imperiled biosphere. In short, humanity is slowly but surely destroying the Earth, and if we can't stop ourselves, our future is all but doomed. This puts Ryo's question into a harsh perspective. If nature inherently has checks and balances for its various species, what is there to check us? Humanity's best response so far has been the same one the devils had, to, massacre each other, war. Has humanity evolved with the purpose of keeping ourselves in check through violence? That is just one difficult question that Devilman asks us. The other themes in the show stem from this core question: are any humans inherently good or evil? Ryo, who is eventually revealed to be the true antagonist of the series and reveals the existence of demons through the mainstream media, he terrorizes the masses, convincing both citizens and governments that demons can be anywhere and or anyone. He goes even further, stating that anyone who's even slightly morally gray should be a demon, and so Ryo single-handedly creates moral widespread panic and mistrust. The idea of someone being different from yourself or those like you is suddenly deemed not just as the other, but as inherently evil, a literal demon, and we see this exact circumstance play out with Miki and her family. Her friendship and closeness with Akira, as well as her defense of Akira once Ryo sets the masses in motion to destroy all demons, perfectly exemplifies this theme. Her entire family gets brutally massacred in Minecraft by a mob. The world changes to see everyone in black or white, good or bad, and this specifically contrasts Akira, who quite literally is a mix of good and evil, a human with demon powers but a pure heart. So, riddle me this: does anything about this situation seem familiar to you? Because it hurts me how on the nose it feels. We obviously are living in a time where many media outlets profit off fear-mongering by pointing the finger at different societal groups and saying these people are the problem. Trans people are literally being witch-hunted right now, and there are laws actively being put into effect to try and stamp them out of existence. Women's health rights are being taken away. You get the point. And how many of these people have ever actually met a trans person, let alone a woman? There's no longer a faith in humanity as a whole. Instead, we're in the midst of active attempts to completely dehumanize people, relegate them to the status of both other and evil, and therefore justify some kind of genocide. And that's exactly what happens in Devilman's. Miki's unfortunate demise is just a taste of the widespread destruction of society as a whole, but her death also kills Akira's faith in humanity. He absolutely obliterates the mob that attacked her and her family. And here's the saddest part, right? That's where I feel like I am. My faith in humanity is constantly being attacked and shredded. Don't go on Twitter, guys. It's not worth it, I promise. And definitely don't follow us on Twitter if you don't like this video. But the mob mentality and the distrust in those you don't understand, the active hate towards people you haven't met or have no experience to relate to, it's all right there in Devilman, being spread in much the same way it's currently being done in our lives. People are literally profiting off of hate and becoming cultural icons for spreading fear and anger. I mean, does any of this sound like it's going to end well? And that's the final rub, right? Devilman doesn't have a nice and neat conclusion. The world ends, and all that's left is Ryo in his actual form, Satan. Sitting alone on a barren planet, realizing the mistakes he made. And there's plenty of religious allegory here. We, like I said, have another Devilman video that goes into that a bit more, but you probably haven't seen it thanks to a nice yellow $sign that YouTube gave us, which besides takes away all of the profit from making something like this, but also makes it so you don't see it. And we can prove that kind of thing right here with a graph. However, today I want to focus on the realism of this scene. When hate and fear win, the entire world is destroyed. And I think beyond anything else, that's the takeaway Nagai was getting at. The things depicted in Devilman, especially now, are not what you would call realistic. And obviously I'm talking about the animation, I'm talking about the violence in Minecraft, all of that stuff. I don't think anything in there is going to, ruin the minds of the populace. Instead, I think it's the themes within the show that kind of give the algorithm a little bit of a titty twister. In fact, it might be something as simple as putting Devilman in the title. Anyway, I'm under a blanket in a hotel room in Utah right now, so I gotta wrap this up. Our current path hasn't gotten any better over the last 50 years. What felt like the true thread connecting the real world to Devilman back in the 1970s hits even harder now. That's the point. We're constantly being told that people unlike us are the enemy. They're non-human. They're evil. And there are higher powers profiting off of that fear. That's corporations, individuals, religious institutions, social media influencers, politicians, and political commentators who spew lies for profit and fame. We've seen this through Tucker Carlson and the release of his personal text between him and other right-wing pundits. Billionaires that grow more powerful when the people fight against each other instead of against the system. Devilman is an upsetting manga, but not because of the gore or violence in Minecraft or the theming, but because it feels more like reality now than it did when it was written. I don't want to see the ending to the real-life adaptation if we can help it, so take a minute And if you haven't read Devilman yet, definitely read it. You can watch the OVAs, they're really good, but it's nice to get the entire story. Sit with how it makes you feel, because it is a genius piece of art. And because it's something I think that everybody needs to understand at their core.